Alrighty, we're live. Just needing to get some followers to join in on the video. Cool. We've got my travel person, Melt in. Okay, Melt, I think what we can do is we can put a request in. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we're just waiting for the connection. Hopefully all our connections are good. Hey, Melt.
Who's it?
How you doing?
Like yourself.
Cool, man. Cool, man. Listen, we've got about 3 followers on at the moment. We are just hoping to get some more. But the other thing is, what we're going to do is we're going to make it an IGTV video so people can always watch it later as well.
Okay.
But let's give some time to everyone to maybe still join, because what Instagram does is lets them know that we're on. How's things your side?
Can't complain,
Say again?
Can't complain, eh?
Can't complain. Cool. It's a little bit dumbed down. Where's your phone? I've got the earphones on.
It's right in front of me. Maybe I should put my earphones in.
No, it's fine. The earphones are just going to make sure that, because I just need to hear your questions in case there's some noise. But I think we're fine. Okay, cool. You know what? Why don't we just shoot? Because like I said, the video is going to be saved. So we don't want to hang around too much when people watch this later. Okay, so Malt, so the idea with this is, and for all the listeners out there, that I wanted to create a bit of a community on Instagram. I decided to use this platform for now because I think there's a lot of people out there looking for something and some information around financial advice, financial planning. And this platform is supposed to be for other financial advisors, planners, and normal people that are looking to get some information. And the idea is not that it's not supposed to be a sales scenario. I'm not selling myself as a financial planner, although I have got that background. Here I'm just trying to get some answers, get some information, hear from people, have some interesting chats. And you're the first one. We're on episode 1. So all good. So maybe just for everyone out there, maybe give us a quick, who's Melt? You don't have to give all the information, but who's Melt? What do you do? What's your thing?
Well, I've basically been working for myself most of my life.
Okay. Cool.
Small businesses and, just on the treadmill, trying to build up some savings, trying to buy stuff that I need, I mean, trying to do planning as best as I can, but it's not easy trusting other people with your money, especially if you work hard for it.
Yeah.
So
and tell me, actually, let's stop on that point. You said you've basically been self-employed all your life. I mean, that essentially means you don't have an employer that is maybe got some other pension fund or benefits like medical aid. So you've obviously had to take care of yourself. So that must be quite hard, especially now at the moment. I mean, how's that?
I have to start looking, to take care of myself in the future. I haven't really been in a position to put away lots of money, and that could be a problem one day, So better get in the game as soon as one can, I reckon.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, in terms of maybe asking you is explain sort of your general view on money and your relationship with it up till now in your life. Sort of what's your take on money? Like, what's your philosophy essentially on money?
Well, you have to have some.
Yeah, you
Uh,
first got to make it.
yeah, I mean, and I don't know if I haven't been probably the best person to you know, say how money management and that kind of thing. Um, I
Yeah.
don't know. That's where you come in. You have to give me some ideas because I'm basically. Mm.
No, but what I wanted to find out is sort of like when somebody mentions money and making it and then doing something with it, like regardless of what you've done, it doesn't matter. I think people are always sort of worried, oh shit, I haven't actually done anything with my money. I need to do something or things like that. But like when you think about money, or somebody mentioned it, like what is your first sort of thought? Do you feel like, I mean, I'll give you an example. I'll lead you on a bit, but is it money scarce? Is it money is available? Is it my parents told me that you shouldn't trust other people with your money. You must put it under the mattress or put it in a bank. Sort of, what's your general sort of take when it comes to money?
Um, yeah, I am quite. Um, I don't spend money easily. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I tend to try and hold on to it as much as I can and spend it on the stuff that I need really. So even for me,
Okay.
like taking out insurance is like kind of, am I really even ever going to make that accident? Is someone going to steal my laptop? Am I just giving away this money every
Money.
month? So,
Mm.
so that's the kind of skepticism I have about financial institutes. And even now with the coronavirus, everyone's the insurance not paying out, all these restaurants and
Mm.
stuff. And this kind of me, I don't know. I would have to trust someone to give
Yeah.
my money to them and say, yeah,
Yeah. No,
I
sure.
trust you do this. Yeah, so I must say, what's the word? Pretty conservative. I'm pretty conservative
Yeah.
when it comes to um, you know money.
And yeah, so, but I think what you're also saying is that you're essentially a little bit frugal, like you will keep money aside. So you obviously, in a way, that's to me, that's a bit of planning because you obviously worry that you might need it, so you don't spend a lot of it quickly. So that's obviously part of a philosophy, I would say, of money. You're saying that whatever you make, you're not easily going to spend it. So which is actually a good start, in my view. I mean, is that sort of how you see it?
That's what I try to do. That's how I'd like to
Okay.
see myself. I mean, you end up having to spend money on all kinds of things, and it's hard saving. It's hard saving,
Mm,
in the current climate. So
yeah,
it is
for
something that
sure.
I aspire to more and more. Like, I mean, I've grown up, well, I've grown into making myself do that more and more, and
Okay.
every every year is better than the previous.
Yeah. Okay.
With my view of money in that sense.
Okay. Okay. So on that point, then carrying on, have you ever used a financial planner or advisor, or thought of using one?
Um, I have actually just before the hard lockdown, I had someone around from Liberty Life, a guy
Okay.
that came and assessed. He did a financial needs analysis,
Okay.
where they put all your figures into the computer and they ask you how much money do you want when you retire, and I tell them,
Yeah.
and they say to you, mate, you basically fucked.
Yeah. So on that point, that's an interesting one because I mean I kind of know that world, so I know what a financial needs analysis is, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what was your view on it when somebody asked you like how much do you want or when and how much do you need in retirement? Was it arbitrary or was it difficult to answer that question, or how did you experience those questions and the numbers that were then spat out afterwards?
Yeah, the questions were quite hectic because I've never thought about exactly how much money I need when I
Mm,
retire, and obviously the age to retire, um, people can't retire when they're 60 anymore. So I said, look, I'm going to have to work till I'm 70, so I'm going to have to find something to do till that age, basically, you know, or never stop
Mm.
working, really. I don't think there
Yeah.
is such thing as retirement anymore, you know.
Cool.
That's when you
Yeah.
work for
I
the
agree.
company. Yeah.
I basically agree. It's interesting thing that you're saying that from that perspective, that you realize you probably have to like work for a long time. And I think that's for many of us. I think the concept of retirement has, it's a weird concept. I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail, but my own research has said that it was actually created by the Austrian Emperor Bismarck, the retirement age, or actually social pensions, like government taking care of you. And they made the retirement age or the pension age like 60, but most people were dying before the age of 50. So they didn't really think they would ever need to pay for people living that long. So that's an interesting one, but I don't want to get too technical on this. But
Now it's still
uh,
60.
say again.
And it's still 60 at most big companies, you know.
Big companies, and then I think it's been pushed to 65. And then, for instance, you'll see in some European countries like France, I think they try to push it to 70, and then people started protesting. And yeah, it's a funny concept, but I think you're right. And my view is the same: is that we need to plan for different stages of our life, because I think at some point, you get older, and although you might want to work and mentally you're okay to work, you might not physically be okay, or the other way around. You might not be mentally okay anymore. So, but those are unforeseen things that we need to look at. Okay, so, but what was your general view of this financial planner and his needs analysis and what he asked you and what you guys talked about?
Yeah, I didn't get the impression that you had any kind of qualification, you know, like hectic qualification. Um, I mean, I felt that he was trying to sell me some products, you know,
Okay,
life insurance, and disability, and all these kind of things.
okay,
Um, but it was quite vague. It feels like, okay, the guy gets a client, he gets you to buy some stuff, and he
yeah,
passes you on to the next guy, and that guy manages your money or whatever.
yeah,
And I didn't feel like, you know, if this guy's going to be around for long,
yeah.
uh, maybe he's got another job down the line, 2 years down the line.
Okay.
I
So
don't
you
know.
didn't, yeah,
I felt like it was pushing products to me, you know?
okay. So do you feel like when he did this financial needs analysis with you, did you actually feel that it was something that could be focused on and taken further, or did he seem like he was kind of rushing through it and just wanting to get some information to do the next thing?
It's quite kind to, well, I felt that he was trying to get the sale, you know?
Okay.
But it was insightful, you know, all the numbers and stuff. I don't know exactly how they work it out. Um,
But did
but
it
for me,
make
yeah,
any sense to you, or did you gain anything from those numbers that were actually spat out?
yeah, that I need to start saving more.
Okay. Okay, so it did invoke some sort of potential call for action from your side. So it did make you think a
Yeah,
little bit.
definitely. And that was kind of just before the hard lockdown. So, and
Mm,
then the lockdown happened, and I said, look, I don't know what's going to happen now, you know? So
mm,
I'm moving on. I'm not going to
okay.
go ahead with anything. Um,
Okay.
and I was considering a few things, you know, just a few things, well, in the portfolio of things that he suggested to me.
Suggested.
Um,
Okay.
you know, but yeah,
Okay.
with the lockdown, I kind of I thought, look, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to spend money on anything right now,
Right.
just till
Yeah.
I see if the world's
What's
going to
going on?
collapse. Yeah.
So you mentioned actually you didn't feel like he was very qualified. A question I actually had for you is, do you know, as someone that isn't in the industry and is really just a consumer or a client of financial products, do you know what a CFP is?
Um, yeah. Oh, you a CFP?
Yeah.
Okay.
But have you ever heard the term before?
I think I heard it from you before. Yeah, and
Okay.
the abbreviation, you know, CFP. Yeah,
But
for
you know that
that.
it's got to do something with financial qualifications.
Yeah. I thought the
Okay.
F stands for financial, and then we kind of figured out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you probably did hear it, but I mean, you haven't, as far as you know, you haven't heard it much before anywhere else.
No.
Okay. Did this financial advisor did he have a CFP? Did he tell you about his qualifications at all?
No, he
Okay.
didn't. I think if he had that qualification, he probably would have, let me know about it.
Did you know about it? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, as this is also an educational platform, I think what we want to do is also, give the listeners some info. So a CFP is actually a certified financial planner professional. And in order to get, it's called a designation. It's like a accountant has a CASA behind his name. And it's a designation that you can only acquire with a postgraduate qualification. And the unfortunate thing is that when somebody says they're a financial advisor from either a specific insurance company, I don't want to mention the one you said again because we don't want to plug their products, but it sounds like he was working for one specific company and he wasn't an independent advisor that could actually advise on different companies. But that's all product based. A certified financial planner is someone with the qualifications to actually help you create a proper financial plan. And it's not a requirement, especially in South Africa, actually in most countries in the world, it's not a requirement. There's minimum requirements. South Africa has set some minimum requirements for financial advisors, but it's at a NQF level 5, so it's like a diploma level. So most advisors have to have that at least, but it's not quite at a university degree level. But a CFP is someone that's actually had to get a postgraduate qualification. So for the most part, what I do want to advocate for at least is that when people do see financial advisors and planners, that they ideally look for someone that is a CFP professional and you'll know if the guy has it because it'll be in his business card. He'll probably let you know about it, and he should actually let you know about it. And then you've got a bit of a better idea that the person has the right qualifications. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have that guy sell you products. I think there's a lot of people that have that designation that are still just selling you products, but just so that everyone knows. So for you, so on that point, and talking further in that regard, what do you look for if you were now going to engage further in a financial advisor or planner? What would you be looking for in them? In terms of building trust for yourself.
Well, I'll probably just use you. I have to know them for years, and
okay.
And they shouldn't have any hairs, according to the comments.
Well, we've had some compliments on our beard, so we definitely. Okay, so you should ideally know them for a while, but sometimes doing business with friends, I mean, with friends is not always ideal. I mean, as a friend, I'd rather give you some pointers than maybe do business with you, but I will help you. But I mean, other than that, I mean, sometimes you can't just get to know someone that quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Do you feel, now that I've explained the CFP qualification, do you feel that is at least something you would require from someone, perhaps?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It can't hurt.
Yeah.
No, it's a good thing to know. And someone with that obviously knows a lot more than your average guy trying to push some products,
Yeah, for sure. Okay, now what I just wanted to ask you, other than that, is how does Melt save? So you said you do keep money aside for when and you try not to spend it, but I mean, how do you save? Do you just keep it in your bank account, or have you gone in any way further than that?
Yeah, no, at the moment, just bank account.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of different banks, and one account I don't touch,
Okay.
and the others, money comes in, is
Yeah.
anything left?
Okay.
I couldn't save it, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, do you know about any? Have you been informed about other types of savings products, essentially?
No, even
Like,
on my banking app, there's some suggestions of, how you can invest and tax-free saving accounts and, all
yeah.
kinds of products, even on my banking app. So
Yes.
I've checked it out and I will think about using them because my bank's been quite loyal to me. And I
Okay.
think speaking with your bank, I mean, they know everything about you, all the money
Right.
that's come in and out. And I think if you build a good relationship with your bank, that's a good place to start using their
Okay.
products.
Cool. That's actually an interesting point because I think it goes towards my question, actually, and you're answering it in other questions, is that perhaps someone at your bank is someone that you would potentially trust. And I think that goes for a lot of people, actually. I'm not saying it's the right or wrong thing. I'm just saying that I think banks are often seen as, they already got your savings and your check accounts and maybe some loans, and therefore the next step is to maybe look at, because most banks have financial advisors that do service the clients. So that is an option, definitely. I'm not saying it's the best option, but I think that is also an option. Yeah, so I think, okay, I mean, other than that, I mean, personally, just from your personal experience, I mean, what other products have you heard about that you think you want to look into more? So you mentioned tax-free savings. Is there any other product that you've heard or been told about?
Cougar Rands.
Kruger Rands. Yeah, not a bad one. There's actually some companies that facilitate buying some Kruger Rands, and they hold the physical Kruger Rand, in fact, which is quite good. And I think gold has increased quite a bit. So listen, and anything else? And I mean, have you heard of a retirement annuity?
Yes, that's one of the big things that was discussed with the guy from the company.
Okay,
RA, yeah?
an RA, yeah, retirement annuity. So essentially, a retirement annuity is actually quite good for, you mentioned, you work for yourself. Some companies have pension funds. Essentially, what an RA is a personal pension fund, if you can call it that. So it's for people that don't at work or don't have work that provides them a pension fund. They would use a retirement annuity, and sometimes both. So it is one option. It's not the only way to save, obviously, and especially for retirement, but it does give you some tax benefits and things. But we don't want to go into serious advice on this program. We're kind of just talking generally. So I just wanted to look through the comments here. There have been some comments. Retirement is for quitters. Bjorn says, I spent my money on booze and women. The rest I wasted. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, you got to live too. So I think it's a nice balance between living and then saving, Bjorn also says, the returns is most likely more useful than giving it to the bank. Now give it to Almo. The idea of this is not to come to me as your financial advisor. I just want to kind of start
Beyond.
providing some insight. So the other interesting question here is, who's the other guy being interviewed? He seems fly. Bjorn says you fly. Okay, there was...
When you have like one man, it's Bjorn, and who else is there?
There's Francois here as well. So actually, this is I think a good. I saw this one, and this is quite a good question. Francois asked, "Do people ever lie about having a CFP? How can one check as consumers?" So you can in fact check. The professional body that all CFP professionals belong to is called the Financial Planning Institute of South Africa. The website is www.fpi.co.za, so FPI, not BIP, and you can actually check if the person that has said they've got a CFP designation is in fact still a member. Sometimes they may not have renewed their membership. and their designation has expired. So there is a way to actually check for CFP. So that's actually a good one. He also says banks can only be trusted if your family owns it.
Then you don't need to.
Say again?
If your family owns a bank, you don't need to say it.
Yeah. Okay, cool, Malt. I think that's like roughly all the questions I have for you. I didn't want to go on too long, and hopefully having it short and punchy, and discussing some useful things. Is there anything you want to ask me and that you think people might get use from by you asking me that question?
Yeah, can you loan me 50K?
No.
I don't know, Mo. Okay, so what's the first thing I must do now if I haven't done anything to start looking after my future? What's the first thing you would get into?
Yeah, good question. It's a difficult one. It also depends. I think, it depends where you're at in your life, and how old you are. But I definitely think that, you mentioned that essentially you are really just keeping your money in a bank. I think the one thing people should definitely do is, and I think you do it because you mentioned you've got more than one bank, is actually money that you want to put aside, you should be putting it into a different type of account, a different bank account at least. There are some banks, I don't want to plug the names here on the show, but there are some banks which are focused on savings and giving you at least a good interest rate. And I think the first thing people should do is actually put money aside. Because the one principle that I believe in is that if you get money and you put away some of it immediately, then you've got a better chance that is going to be saved, rather than waiting till the end of the month and then saving what you've got left. Because meaning say you get 5,000 Rand, you get paid, you've hopefully got a job, and you take 1,000 Rand that you want to ideally save. Put that 1,000 Rand away somewhere so that you can only spend 4,000 Rand for the month. I think that's a good start. I don't want to go much further than that, but definitely don't just have one account and hope that you're going to build up something in that account. That's your operational account, and that should be, for you work out a budget. I think that's another a good start, is actually budgeting, knowing what you get in and what you spend money on. A thing that a lot of financial advisors do not do with their clients is actually start going through what they spend their money on. Because even if that guy wants to sell insurance, he needs to first figure out with you if you can afford the insurance. So the first step should actually be for him to kind of talk about how you're spending your money and a budget. That's my view. But doing a budget for someone doesn't always pay, because the financial advisor is getting money from selling a product. And that's another topic for another day. But it's about the way that advisors mostly get remunerated. Just to ask you that question, do you know how financial advisors get their money?
It's probably like a percentage of what they sell. Or like a one-off fee for a product. I don't know.
Okay. So to ask you a question, would you pay someone to actually give you good advice on your finances?
Yeah. Proportionately to the advice that I get and the kind of savings I can make from it, or kind of the value that it creates for me, because not everyone, is, not everyone has got not all advice got the same value.
Yeah. So price and value must align.
Yeah.
Cool. Great answer. I think what we're going to do, we just hit 30 minutes of this interview, and I think that was a good way to end it. So Malt would be willing to pay for advice, and as long as he gets the value in that. So that's a cool one. Great. Mal, thank you for being the first guest on my live chats with Almo on the Financial Planning SA Instagram account. It was great to have you. Thanks for combing your hair.
Pleasure, man.
And chatting to me. Thanks, dude. I don't know about it. I haven't had hair for a long time.
No, you look good, man. Looking good, buddy.
Thanks, bro. Thanks,
Okay.
bro. Okay. Laters. Thanks for the chat, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.